Today I'm doing a book review. What? So yesterday I finally finished reading the third book in the An Ember in the Ashes series, A Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. And my mood after finishing this book is, you know, Janice from Friends and how she always says, "Oh my god." Yeah, that's me right now. This book was amazing. I had so much fun reading it, and it honestly took me a while to read it just because I didn't want to put it down. Like, I just wanted to be in this world and with these characters for as long as possible, but I finally finished it. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I still don't know if it's better than A Torch Against the Night. I'm still trying to decide, but this book though was pretty darn good. So if you haven't read this book yet and you don't want to be spoiled, I will leave it right now because this is the third book, so I really can't say much since, you know, we're more than halfway done with the series. There's only one more book left and I don't know how to feel about that. But if you haven't read this yet, leave now because I'm about to start spoiling. And you do not want to be spoiled for this book, so leave right now. So goodbye! Alrighty, so A Reaper at the Gates. Where do I begin? First, let's talk about my homegirl, Helene, aka the Blood Strike, because I freaking love this woman. I adored Helene in this book, and I think she just grew more as a person because I hated her in the first book, and then I started to really like her in book 2, and in this one, I just feel like I got to see this raw side of her, like especially at the end when she's the only one left on the battlefield. She has an arrow through her shoulder, she has no one left, and she sees the Nightbringer and she just starts crying because all she wants is for people to be saved, and she can't. She failed and she's a failure, and it was just such a raw and emotional scene, and I was like, I just wanted to give her a hug. Why did I have to bring that up like 2 minutes into this? Because that scene blew me away with like her mask being the last piece of the star. Like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out, and I can't talk about that right now. I do want to talk about though Helene and Harper because oh my god, I've been shipping these two since A Torch Against the Night, and they get some really cute scenes in this book, but then at the end they kiss, and I was the happiest girl in the world until Helene was like, oh yeah, I want him, but I can't have him. And then he was gonna call her Helene, and then she stopped him and said Blood Strike, and I died. That's probably the thing I hate about Helene, is that she's built this wall around herself, and the mask was kind of like how she hid her emotions. But now I'm really interested to see her because she doesn't have the mask anymore, and so she's so vulnerable. And it was really interesting reading how, you know, she blushed when Harper said something and she was like, oh my god, he could see that, like, panic. But even though they suffered, they didn't suffer as much as Ilias and Leia. I liked both Ilias and Leia in this book. Like, yeah, I love them. I think they're great. But in this book specifically, I honestly didn't enjoy the both of them as much, just because, you know, I said earlier, I thought the most stuff happened in Helene's chapters, so when I got to theirs, I was like, eh. And I especially felt this way with Ilias, and I hate to say this because I love him so much, but every time I went to his chapters and he was talking about the moss and the ghosts and everything, I was like, I really don't care. But now I care so much, and I'm so worried about him because Ilias is no longer Ilias. He is the soul catcher now, which I knew this was gonna happen. The moment Shaib died, I was like, yep, he's gonna be the soul catcher by the end of this. But like, I'm so hopeful that I still thought there was a way we could avoid it, but you know, that obviously wasn't gonna happen. I just hated reading his last few chapters because I could see him becoming more and more like the soul catcher and feeling moss magic really get to him, and how, you know, he was helping the ghosts, and then those last few conversations he had with Leia, he was just so like straightforward and stone cold with her, and there was really no motion, and then he just stopped seeing her as Leia, as the girl he loved. But I'm just both sad and mad at him. Sad because he's no longer Ilias, and mad because he let Moss win. He let him win, and I'm very superstitious of this Moss person, magic, whatever. I don't even know what Moss is. But after that scene where Ilias saw that water and the creatures, I am very suspicious, okay? I don't trust this Moss, and I think something bad's gonna happen. I don't know what, but I'm superstitious. And then there's Leia, who, like I said, I liked in this book, but she's always been my least favorite. But after reading this one, though, I feel a lot of sympathy for her because nothing good happens to her in this book. The big thing I want to talk about with her is her mom, because her mom is talked about a lot in this book, which at first I thought was really weird because, I mean, I know that she talks about her mom a lot, but it was more excessive in this, and I was like, okay. But Leia has all these visions after using her invisibility of, like, her mom, and she finds out that her mom killed her father and her sister Liz, and she sees her mom getting tortured and everything, and then the Nightbringer brings her to the waiting place and shows her this memory that kind of like connects everything together, and she finds out that her mom is still alive and she knows who she is. Leia's mother is the cook, and I kid you not, I thought it was a joke. I personally feel that this was just kind of random. I'm happy, of course, that Leia did get to see her mom again and got to spend time with her, because we all know how much her mother means to Leia. So her coming back to life, like, yes, like, that's amazing. That's wonderful. But what was weird was just that, you know, one, the cook was just so cold and rude and was all like, oh yeah, your mother's dead, like, I'm not her, and was just really mean to Leia, and I was like, why are you doing this? And then 100 pages later, the cook dies. I just don't know why you would bring her mother back to life and have it be the cook, only for the cook to die, like, by the very end of this. Like, what? Like, the cook should have lived, but, you know, the cook was being all heroic and was saving her daughter and told her she loved her, and it was really sweet, but, like, the cook should have lived. Speaking of the end, I guess I should bring it up, because I just brought up another scene from the end. This end had me so shocked, and I read, like, the whole end yesterday, so I was just sitting in my chair just being like, oh my god. First, the Emperor Marcus dies, which I did not see that coming, but, well, actually, I take that back. I did see that coming, because Livia, his wife, and also Helene's sister, gives birth to a son, and he goes and visits the son, and he's all like, oh, protect him, like, escape and protect, and then he leaves, and then Helene comes back later, and he's stabbed. I've never liked Marcus. He can go choke, but in that scene, I felt just a little bit of sympathy, because he simply asked Helene for mercy, and he was just so raw, and it was so interesting reading that from Helene's perspective, because she felt all this rage towards him for what he did to her sister and the Empire and everything, but then through it all, she's just like, I want to heal him. But he died, and I couldn't believe it, because now we have this baby as Emperor, but then also we have the Commandant as Empress, because she's a little betrayer and backstabbed us all. And then the other thing that surprised me was that, I think I already mentioned this, the last piece of the star was Helene's mask. For the longest time, Leia thinks it's the Bloodstrike ring that Helene wears all the time, but the Nightbringer kind of helps out Helene, which I found a little weird at first, but then I figured something out. I knew that he wanted something first, so I just assumed the whole entire time that it was the ring. But when Helene is alone and crying on the battlefield and the Nightbringer shows up, he asks her for a bit of her soul, and at first I was like, wow, you ain't getting none of this girl's soul. Like, ain't no way this is gonna happen. But then Helene recalls a conversation she had with Ilias' grandfather, because she visits him once in this book, and he told her how the mask is everyone's like truest identity, and when you take it off, you lose a little bit of your soul. So that's why Helene takes off the mask, and you know, you have to give the Nightbringer something out of love. And so I was like, okay, but like, how is this gonna work? You don't love the Nightbringer like Leia did, but then she loves her people, and she just cried for them, and that's how she took it off and gave it to him, and I died. So now the Nightbringer has all the star, and he went to the waiting place where the Jinn Grove is, where his people are, and he stabbed the star into like the ground and exploded, and then the Jinn were free, and he saw his family, and they called him by his real name, which means beloved. I'm so scared for the next book now because it's the final one, and I just know that the Nightbringer is gonna kill us all because he has all his Jinn, and like, they're all super powerful, and I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous. Can you tell that I'm nervous? But I think that's all I have to say though for a reread the Gates. Overall, it was super fun. I loved it. But now I'm just really freaked out, which is great. Thank you all so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm Courtney, and I'll see y'all next time with a new episode, so I will see you then. So, bye!